The more you carry, the slower you move. The slower you move, the easier you fall. This simple yet piercing truth captures the essence of Miyamoto Musashi's 14th principle. Do not hold on to possessions you no longer need. It is not merely advice about material things. It is a philosophy of life, movement, and mastery. Musashi lived as a wanderer, a swordsman without attachments, without a master, without a permanent home. He moved through mountains, rivers, and dueling grounds with little more than 2 swords, ink, and paper, yet carried within him the sharpest clarity of purpose. Where others built walls of wealth around their fears, he built freedom from within. His lack of possessions was not poverty. It was precision. In the modern world, abundance is often mistaken for success. We are taught to collect clothes, gadgets, comforts, even opinions. People measure progress by what they can display, not by what they can discard. But Musashi saw through this illusion. To him, every unnecessary thing was an anchor, dragging the spirit into stillness, into dependence. He knew that a man burdened by possessions cannot move freely, neither in body nor in thought. Every object requires care, attention, and time. The sword you never use still needs sharpening. The gold you hoard still needs guarding. The mind begins to orbit its possessions until it no longer serves its own will. A warrior, Musashi believed, should never be owned by what he owns. He understood something most people still fail to grasp. Every possession you cling to is a silent demand. It asks for your energy, your fear, your protection. The more you own, the more you must defend. The more you defend, the less you live. To let go in Musashi's world was not a weakness, it was a strategy. He stripped away what was unnecessary to strike faster, think clearer, live lighter. His detachment was a form of mastery. Every discarded weight became a step toward freedom. The fewer chains a man carries, the more dangerous he becomes, because nothing can be taken from him. Even today, his principle cuts deep. The clutter of our possessions mirrors the clutter of our minds. We hold on to clothes we never wear, tools we never use, and memories that no longer serve us. And in doing so, we dull our edge, the inner sharpness that thrives on clarity, simplicity, and discipline. Musashi's life teaches this. True power begins when the unnecessary ends. When the mind, the body, and the spirit carry only what is essential, movement becomes effortless and purpose becomes pure. A man who clings to what he no longer needs carries his own weakness disguised as wealth. Philosophical exploration. Possession breeds dependence. Dependence weakens the will. This is the quiet truth hidden within Musashi's 14th principle. Every object a man owns presses a silent weight upon his spirit, not because of its physical mass, but because of the attachment that grows around it. The more you possess, the more you fear loss, and fear, to Musashi, was the beginning of defeat. Musashi lived as a ronin, a masterless samurai. He had no lord to serve, no estate to guard, no comfort to defend. His only constant companions were his discipline and his blade. His detachment wasn't asceticism, it was strategy. The fewer ties he had to material things, the freer his movements, the sharper his awareness. He could enter any village or battlefield without hesitation because he carried no weight that could be used against him. His life was his weapon, his freedom his armor. Just as a blade dulls when it's left to rust, the mind dulls when it is crowded with unnecessary things, whether possessions, desires, or memories. Musashi saw life as a continuous battle for clarity. To keep that clarity, one must polish the mind daily, removing the rust of attachment. There are 3 layers of possession that Musashi warned against. 1. Physical possessions. Weapons, clothes, luxuries, tools. They are useful only when they serve a function. Beyond that, they own you. 2. Emotional possessions. Pride, past victories, relationships that have outlived their purpose. These bind the heart to what was, preventing it from seeing what is. 3. Mental possessions. Fixed opinions, rigid beliefs, identities that trap the mind in illusion. The man who cannot let go of a thought becomes a prisoner of it. Musashi mastered all 3 layers. He could discard an old weapon, an old method, or an old identity with equal calm. That adaptability made him nearly unbeatable. In the Book of 5 Rings he wrote, "You must not be dependent on any particular weapon or style." This teaching went beyond swordsmanship. It was a lesson in detachment itself. If one clings to a single technique, one becomes predictable. If one clings to a single possession, one becomes vulnerable. The warrior's strength lies in fluidity, the ability to let go and adapt without hesitation. A man who owns too much, whether in material or mind, begins to protect rather than progress. He becomes the guardian of his own limitations. The castle he builds for comfort becomes the cage that keeps him from growing. The more he gathers, the more he fears the fall. True mastery lies in carrying only what the path demands. Each possession should serve precision, not pride. Every item that does not contribute to movement, clarity, or readiness is an invisible weight dragging the spirit down. Musashi's life was proof of this discipline. He traveled across Japan with little more than his sword and his resolve. He trained in mountains, slept under open skies, wrote his teachings on scraps of paper, not because he had nothing, but because he needed nothing. His lightness gave him speed, his simplicity gave him strength. Possession is a burden disguised as comfort. Comfort lulls the warrior into complacency. Possession teaches fear of loss. Both corrode the spirit slowly, until movement becomes hesitation and clarity becomes noise. A warrior who carries too many swords forgets which one is sharp. The same is true for life. When you cling to too many things, you forget which one truly matters. Musashi's path was the art of subtraction, cutting away the unnecessary until only the essential remains. Every act of letting go is an act of sharpening. Each discarded weight reveals more precision, more calm, more freedom. To live by this principle is to live like a blade, lean, balanced, and ready. The world may chase abundance, but the true warrior seeks alignment. Musashi's freedom was not in what he gained, but in what he no longer needed to carry. Practical application. Philosophy without action is decoration. Musashi's wisdom was never meant for mere contemplation. It was meant for combat, for movement, for life. The 14th principle, do not hold on to possessions you no longer need, is not a poetic idea. It's a discipline to be practiced daily. In a world drowning in abundance, the modern warrior must learn the art of traveling light externally and internally. Step 1. Audit what you carry. Begin with what you can see. Take inventory of your possessions, your clothes, gadgets, collections, and even digital clutter. Ask yourself, does this serve a purpose or pride? Every object in your environment either strengthens your discipline or feeds your distraction. The warrior's way is to know the difference. A clean room, a tidy desk, and a focused toolkit are not minimalism. They are readiness. Exercise. Lay out 10 things you haven't used in the last 6 months. Hold each one and ask, do I own this or does it own me? If it adds no function and no meaning, it adds weight. Letting go is not a loss, it's sharpening. The more you release, the clearer your mind becomes. Step 2. Travel light. Musashi's life was one of constant motion. He moved from jewel to jewel, mountain to mountain, carrying only what fit on his body. His possessions were tools, never trophies. In the modern world, travel light means stripping away what anchors you in unnecessarily cluttered spaces, excessive routines, and overfilled calendars. Your environment mirrors your state of mind. A cluttered home hides a cluttered head. Keep only what supports your direction, the rest slows your advance. Minimalism here isn't an aesthetic, it's combat readiness. The lighter you move, the faster you adapt, the harder you are to break. Step 3. Detach from emotional possessions. Objects often hold emotional weight. A gift from someone gone, a trophy from old victories, a relic of who you once were. But sentimentality, unchecked, can become a quiet enemy. Musashi never worshipped the past. Each duel was new. Each opponent required a new mind. He refused to be trapped by nostalgia. When you hold on to things for memory's sake, you unconsciously hold on to the version of yourself that needed them. Every old token ties you to a former chapter, and to keep evolving, you must let the old pages burn. Practice. Pick one sentimental object that no longer aligns with who you are. Thank it for what it taught you, then release it. A warrior faces forward. Insight. Sentimentality can be the most dangerous possession. It slows adaptation. Step 4. Practice non-dependency. Musashi trained with every weapon and none. He could fight with 2 swords, 1 sword, a stick, or empty hands. His principle was adaptability to depend on nothing external. Apply this to your own life. Use tools, but never need them. Rely on comfort, but never depend on it. The modern world seduces us into fragility, the belief that we need perfect conditions to act. Exercise. Go one day without your most used tool, your phone, your car, your favorite convenience. Observe the mind's discomfort. That is attachment revealing itself. Freedom is not comfort, freedom is control. When you can function fully without what you've grown used to, you've reclaimed strength from dependency. Step 5. Simplify systems. Complexity is camouflage for weakness. The more complex your routines, the easier they are to break. A warrior's way is efficiency. Every item, every action, every relationship must serve a purpose. Ask, does this make me stronger, clearer, freer? If not, it dilutes your edge. Simplify your work systems, your daily rituals, your social commitments. The goal isn't to have less, it's to have only what works. Clarity is the natural result of subtraction. When there's less noise, the signal becomes pure. Step 6. Keep what sharpens you. Musashi kept no dull blade, no weak habit, no hollow relationship. His life was a continuous refinement, keeping only what sharpened his body and mind. Apply this same principle. Keep relationships that challenge you. Keep habits that build resilience. Keep tools that make you efficient. Everything else is rust on the sword. Rule: if it doesn't make you lighter or sharper, let it go. This doesn't mean coldness or cruelty. It means prioritizing purpose over sentiment. To stay sharp, you must be selective. Every master knows the secret of precision lies not in what you add, but in what you remove. Step 7. Ritual of release. Detachment is not an event, it's a ritual. Just as Musashi maintained his blade, maintain your freedom by regular release. Once a month, remove something unnecessary, a possession, a habit, or even a thought. Throw away what has expired its use. End what no longer fits your mission. Lesson. The path becomes clearer each time you drop what you do not need. You can't swing your sword with both hands if one is busy holding on to the past. Let go deliberately. Cut away the excess with calm precision. Each act of release trains your mind to value clarity over comfort. As the blade must be polished to cut cleanly, the spirit must be emptied to act freely. Musashi's strength was not born from what he carried, but from all he refused to carry. The true path of mastery is not in accumulation, but in continuous release. Conclusion. Holding on is weakness disguised as safety. Letting go is power disguised as loss. Musashi lived this truth so completely that even death could not strip him of peace. To him, mastery began not in gaining skill, but in removing everything that made skill impure. The act of letting go was not surrender, it was refinement. Every discarded possession, every renounced comfort, every simplified habit brought him closer to clarity. He understood that the warrior's greatest enemy was not fear or defeat, it was attachment. A man bound to what he owns will hesitate to act. He will fight to protect instead of fighting to grow. The heavier his baggage, the slower his blade. The slower his mind, the slower his life. Modern man measures strength in accumulation, money, status, possessions, yet grows weaker with each new chain. Every object demands maintenance, protection, and thought. The more you have, the more you serve. Musashi flipped that equation. By serving nothing, he served everything within himself. He walked through life with only what fit into his hands, yet his presence filled history. His emptiness was not lack, it was potential. When your hands are empty, you can grasp anything. When your life is light, you can move anywhere. Everything you own is either armor or weight. Armor sharpens your purpose, weight slows your ascent. The wise warrior learns to distinguish the two and cuts away what dulls the spirit. Musashi's freedom was absolute because it was chosen. He could lose everything and remain whole. He had turned simplicity into strength, detachment into direction. The fewer things he needed, the closer he stood to invincibility. So tonight, look around you. What do you still carry, not out of necessity, but out of fear? The trophies, the memories, the possessions that whisper comfort, but conceal chains. Put them down, because the path ahead does not open through addition, it opens through release. And when you finally walk light it, you will understand Musashi's quiet victory. The man who owns nothing cannot be owned.